Yo guys, welcome back to my channel and Videomas day 11, but it's actually December the 10th. Yes, so yesterday, for you, you're going to be seeing a Has Fallen trilogy ranking, but today's video for day 11 is going to be a Men in Black collection trilogy completion thingy ranking. So let's go. So in number 4 we've got Men in Black 2. So as I did in the Has Fallen one, I'm going to read a little description for you, but then give you my reasons why I don't think it's good, or as it's in 4th. So K and J, who are the main two characters of Men in Black, they reunite to provide our best, last, and only line of defense against a sinister seductress who levels the toughest challenge yet to the MIB's untarnished mission statement, who they have to protect the Earth from the scum of the universe. But it's also been 4 years since the first movie happened, which I'll go on talking about that later. Since the first alien-seeking agents averted an intergalactic disaster of epic proportions. But now it's a race against time, as Agent J, played by Will Smith, must convince Agent K, played by Tommy Lee Jones, who he is because he has no memory after he wiped it. But he is also the only living person left with the expertise to save the universe / galaxy to reunite with the MIB before the Earth submits to ultimate destruction. So I will say the movie isn't as good as the first one, but it's still not too bad. Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones are still amazing, and even though after one movie with Men in Black 1, they still seem like perfect for the roles that they're playing, but also perfectly, the chemistry's still there. Like, you can tell that they link, they gel. They might not like each other out of set, but their conversations between the characters just work. And to be honest, I honestly thought that the movie ended really too quickly after all what they were leading to with Selena, played by Lara Flynn Boyd, and Johnny Knoxville's people. It just ended too quickly, I think. But surprisingly, even though the movie came out, almost 18 years ago, it's like, the jokes are actually still funny, even after the first one having happened 5 years after, because this came out in 2002. Yes, but then I will say, in my opinion, I haven't watched the movie in ages, so I actually had no clue what the movie was going to happen because I don't remember. Yeah, let me say again, the visual effects do look a bit better than the first movie. I'll talk about that later on. But they also do look dated at points. But since this had a 5-year release difference between MIB 1 and MIB 2, you'd expect so. But the cast even got bigger, with Rosario Dawson, who's recently playing Ahsoka Tano on the Mandalorian TV show. Haven't watched it, hopefully will soon. But with her inclusion, it looks like she's been there since the start, even though she doesn't have the biggest role, but she just gels with Will Smith. Bonus, it has more Frank the Pug in it, because he wasn't in the first one much, so yeah, that is why Men in Black 2 is 4th. third in this ranking is the newest Men in Black movie, Men in Black International, which doesn't have Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith, any of the main cast from the original trilogy. But I will say it's still a really enjoyable movie. So I'm going to read a little synopsis to you again. Yes. So after an eye-opening encounter of the third kind, the secret MIB organization's newest recruit, Agent M, who is played by Tessa Thompson, she plays the role perfectly. She finds herself under the wing of the heroic Agent H in cosmopolitan London, who Agent H is played by Thor himself, Chris Hemsworth, when a shape-shifting duo of intergalactic assassins execute an alien aristocrat. Now with a devastating super weapon of mass destruction hidden somewhere on Earth, the men and women in black will leave no stone unturned to retrieve it. However, heavy clouds of mistrust and a scent of betrayal envelope the once incorporative agency. Is there a well-placed mole in the midst? You should get that joke if you've watched the movie.
The men and women in black.
Yeah, ha. Perfectly done.
Yes. So, good points about this is I'll say the chemistry between the Thor stars, being Chris Hemsworth and Valkyrie herself, Tessa Thompson, is really, they really do gel. It's like you can tell they don't hate each other on screen when they're, even though there's points where the chemistry does feel kind of, it definitely picks it up. That's probably a good part of this movie as well. But most importantly, Kunal Manajani, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, he voiced the little alien warrior who is Pawnee, but I love the way he voiced the character, his natural elegance of his accent and all that just show you what makes his character entertaining. And yeah, he's just has that comedic effect here and there when you need jokes. I will also say, with the jokes in this movie, they're actually funny and actually do hit still, even though the jokes are, not too bad. The pacing of this movie is, really quick. It really always moves about. And also, surprisingly, Liam Neeson stars in this movie, which is interesting. I enjoyed him in it, but I wish he had more of a star manning role, but not taking over the Chris Hemsworth role. Yeah, I would have loved more of him in it. So I'll explain how this one is linked to the original trilogy. It's linked to the original trilogy by having Emma Thompson's Agent O, who appeared in MIB 3 when Zed unfortunately passes away sometime in between the movies. Yeah. So she's in this one as the same character. And also there's a picture on the wall in a frame of the two OG Men in Blacks, being Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. Yeah. So that is why it is third. And Rebecca Ferguson makes a little appearance. She plays some 3-armed alien-looking person. Yeah. So that is why it is number 3. So we're down to the final 2. So this is number 2. Number 2 is Men in Black 3, which came out in 2012, which was 10 years after Men in Black 2. But I think that was a bring back to the originals, or the first 2. But yeah, you wouldn't even think the distance was 10 years, but it was. So I'm going to read a little synopsis to you again, but this one involves time travel. So after breaking out of Lunar Max, which is a moon-based maximum security prison, Boris the Animal, who is played by Jermaine Clement, might be wrong, he decides to go back in time and eliminate the person who arrested him back in 1969, who was Agent K. But not this time. He's played by Tommy Lee Jones. He's played by a young Josh Brolin, who plays Thanos and Cable in Deadpool 2. Yeah, so he goes back in time. Agent J, also, who's played by Will Smith still, realises that the timeline's been changed by him having side effects by wanting chocolate milk, not knowing that Agent K doesn't exist anymore because he killed him. Yeah. So he travels back to July 15th, 1969, which is the day before Agent K is killed by Boris the Animal, but he doesn't like to be called Boris the Animal, just Boris. Yeah. So, after overwhelming some disbelief, Agent J manages to convince young K, who's still played by Josh Brolin, and others of just who he is and why he's actually there. With the help of Griffin, who is played by Michael Stollenbach, who is a person who can see all timelines and different times. Yeah, so they track Boris down while Jay also learns a secret that older Agent K, who's still played by Tommy Lee Jones, has never told anyone or Will Smith's character, Agent J. Yes. It's an intense movie. It's definitely intense. It's definitely moves quickly, which is like probably maybe one of the downfalls of the movie, because you don't have enough time with the main characters and stuff, but it definitely is good. Yeah. So Josh Brolin perfectly embodies a young Agent K. Like, you can see his mannerisms are like Tommy Lee Jones, even though we don't see much Tommy Lee Jones in this movie. He still appears in it at points, but he definitely has aged in 10 years. Yeah. So, even though this movie was made exactly 10 years after MIB 2, it's exceptional. It's so much better than MIB 2. Because, yeah. And the visual effects of this one are definitely a lot higher and more budget for this movie. Even though the ones from MIB 2 aren't too bad, you can just tell that they've aged. But this one will probably age in like 10 years or something. Yeah. So, I'll also say that whenever Will Smith is on the screen, he still steals the scene and slays the screen when he's on. Even though he's 10 years older, more experienced, you can still be more indulged in his character, even though, because we're still learning more about his character over the time. Yeah. So, that is why Men in Black 3 is my number 2. So, we'll be back. So, we back at number 1. You probably know which one this is going to be now. It is going to be Men in Black 1, which was the original from 1997. So, with that, I'm going to read another synopsis for you quickly. It's based off of the comic book Men in Black. Unbeknownst to other people, there is a private agency code named MIB, but this agency is some kind of extraterrestrial surveillance corporation who, by then, one of the agent's finest men, only going by the name K, played by iconic actor Tommy Lee Jones, who is recruiting for a new addition to the agency, who he has chosen James Edwards, who was played by Will Smith, of the NYPD. But then one day, a flying saucer crashes into Earth, but this was an alien who is a part of the bug race, who he takes the body of a farmer, Vincent D. Forio, might be wrong, but sorry, who heads to New York, who is searching for a super energy source called the Galaxy, which turns out to be this little tiny thing. Not trying to spoil. Now, Agent J and Agent K must stop the bug before it can escape with the Galaxy. Yes. So, I think for when this movie came out, I wasn't actually born yet, but I think this movie's kind of original for the late 90s. I might not be, so yeah. So, the chemistry between Tommy Lee Jones and a fairly young movie Will Smith, having only been in 6 movies before this, it's amazing. You can see that they were perfect for their roles, and you could not envision anyone else playing those roles. Yeah. Even though I'll say that the movie is almost 25 years old, the graphics the visual effects do look great, but as I said with Men in Black 2 before, the visuals do look outdated at points just because it's early VFX time. Yeah. So overall, the movie is really entertaining. It kept me glued to the screen since I haven't watched the movie in ages. But another surprising thing is that the jokes are surprisingly still funny after, 25 years almost. And they still actually hit, the effect. Yeah. So this one was definitely the best Men in Black movie of all of them. Yes. So that is why he is number 1. We'll be back. So, thanks for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed this kind of Videomas content from me, you can click the little red subscribe button down below and view the old Videomas playlists in the description. Yeah, and as I've said in so many other videos, I'm not forcing you to, but I would really appreciate it. So, yeah, not forcing you. So, peace out. See you tomorrow.